Happy Halloween, folks. Welcome to episode 30 of my investment journey series. We've now been doing this for 30 weeks right here on my YouTube channel. If you've not seen me before, my name is Ian Geddes. I started investing back in April as we first entered a lockdown here in the UK, and obviously we've just had the news in the last half hour, or at least England's had the news that there's going to be another lockdown for a month, but now that's kind of off topic, just thought I'd mention it because I just saw it in the news. So yeah, I started investing back initially April as we first entered lockdown. I've now been doing this for 30 weeks, and basically I go into my Trading 212 portfolio on my iPhone. I show you guys how things are looking, go through my portfolio from the previous week, we'll see if things are doing good, if things are doing bad, talk to you about orders, dividends, all that sort of stuff. So if that sounds interesting, please take just a minute, give this video a like. I'm really trying to hit at least 30 likes in this video because 30th video, 30 weeks doing this, 30 likes would make sense, it would be nice. So yeah, hit those thumbs up buttons, give this video a like, really would appreciate it. And if you like this sort of content around beginner investing, Trading 212, money, mindset, all that sort of stuff, please also consider subscribing. We're now over 550 subscribers, I believe. Before I started doing this video, I checked and it was about 550 subscribers, 555 possibly. So yeah, consider subscribing if you do like this, I would really appreciate it. And let's just see where this investment journey takes me. 5-10 years down the line, we'll see how things are. You guys can come along for the journey too. Hopefully we'll learn some things, keeps me accountable, so it's a win-win really, and that's really it. So without further ado, let's jump over to my Trading 212 portfolio. As always, I'll open up the app here on my iPhone. We will look through the previous week, see my investments, see how things are, and just be warned that this past week has not been good for a lot of people, especially the likes of me, who is invested quite heavily in the likes of S&P 500, FTSE 100 and NASDAQ 100, all ETFs have taken a major hit this past week. So you're about to see what I mean when we get onto the app, but there's a lot of red, quite fitting considering it's Halloween. The red could be, I guess, related to blood. It's kind of why I wore this red shirt. I've got a red picture on this monitor here to try and give a bit of a red theme. So yeah, lots of red. Not a good week in the stock market at all by any means. Anyway, let's get into it. You'll see what I mean, and thanks again for watching this video. So here we are, guys, on my iPhone, and I'll open up the Trading 212 app as I always do. Let this load. Just realised my battery is actually really low, so this is a bit of a risk, but hopefully I can get this video done without any problems. So we'll head to the portfolio page as we always tend to do, and straight away you can see there a negative return in the red. I did warn you guys, so minus £243.16. That's what the portfolio is currently showing, the value of my investments. Overall they're down by that much, so portfolio value is £9,225.67. I've now invested £9,468.83 of my own money, and I'll just show you guys the weekly view here. So if we look at last week, we were in the green still. It was good times then. £95.40 in the green, so 1.03% up on the portfolio, and we went from 1.03% to a minus 2.57%. So that just shows you guys how drastic it's been this past week in the stock market. So heading to the history section here, and we will go to the orders tab. So we will look here, and all my purchasing was done yesterday, so this is Saturday, so it was all done yesterday on the Friday. So I bought 5 more units of Shell, still averaging my position down with Shell. I bought another unit in the VanEck Vectors video game esports ETF. I bought 5 more units in the FTSE 100, kind of averaging the FTSE 100 down just now still, my investment with how bad things are looking and how much it's dropped. I bought 2.5 units in the Global Clean Energy iShares ETF. So just increased that a little bit there. I bought 10 units in Legal and General Group. I bought 0.75 units in the Vanguard FTSE Emerging Markets ETF. And then I increased my positions in my Busy Pie. So I bought a bit more Starbucks, a little bit more McDonald's. And then I had some money left over and I decided I would add another unit again to the Vanguard FTSE Emerging Markets ETF. So that's been my purchases for this week. We'll now head to the dividends tab, and there's not been any dividends this past week, so nothing to mention there. So As you can see down the bottom right, if you've not seen this before, total dividends received since I started investing in April is £97.69. So back to my portfolio section here, and as you can see with my investments, we're seeing lots of red, like I did mention to you guys before. Quite fitting with it being Halloween and all, like I was saying. The red is kind of referencing blood, and there's been lots of blood in the market this past week. So looking at my investments here, we've got American Airlines. That's one of my only ones that's currently still in the green. There are 2 free shares that I received from you people going through my referral links with Trading 212. So £2.34 in profit with that one. Coming down to Cineworld Group, my 200 shares. And weekly view down 1.61% from last week, so not looking good there. Hive Group, 25 shares, down 10.63% from last week. Definitely not looking good there either. The iShares Core FTSE 100 ETF, one of my biggest investments in my portfolio. As you can see there, £65.50 down overall with this investment. So I've invested a total of £2,009.64 into this ETF, and it's now showing a negative return of £65.50, 3.16% down overall, in the minus, in the red. So definitely not good with this. And this is actually the worst month for the FTSE 100 since the pandemic began. So that is just crazy. It's just all the uncertainty right now with all the lockdowns coming on and off, all the looming of the Brexit news still. A lot of people forgot about Brexit, but that is still on the cards. So all of this right just now, it's just making the FTSE 100 take an absolute battering. And my FTSE 100 ETF, as you can see, has been victim to this battering. And yeah, one way of looking at it is you can buy the FTSE 100 at a bit of a sale again just now. So my average share price with the FTSE 100 is this hyphenated line here. And it's now dropped way below that, which is never a good thing. But it is a good thing if you're thinking long term, if you want to pick up more shares in that ETF, in that investment, increase your position, average your position down and think long term. Again, I'm talking 5, 10, 15 years down the line. So that's what I'm planning to do. I'm going to keep buying into the FTSE 100, and hopefully, like I say, all that time down, things will turn around and we will be in a happy position years down the line. The S&P 500 ETF, that is still in the green, 5.79% overall, thankfully. This is my biggest investment in my portfolio, but from last week, 4.55% down. That's just absolutely mental. It's the biggest drop I've seen with S&P 500 since I started investing, like I said. There's actually been a 5.6% drop in the S&P 500 over the past 5 days alone, and a lot of this is down to the recent slump in technology stocks. There's been many tech companies, likes of Apple, for example. Their recent earnings reports have really disappointed investors, and this is predicted to only get worse due to the slowing economy with the ongoing pandemic that the whole world's facing. So with all this kind of going on and all the technology stocks that make up the S&P 500, as you can see here, it's just declined rapidly from the beginning of the week all the way down. And yeah, the upcoming election, obviously, who knows what's going to happen there. Yeah, again, lots of uncertainty, people don't like it, and we can see that reflected here. The iShares Global Clean Energy ETF, like I say, I did buy another unit or so in this ETF yesterday. So I've now got 17.5 shares from last week, 2.28% down. So yep, another one that's taken a kick in this week, and 2.28% is pretty significant. The iShares Global Clean Energy ETF was on a bit of a rally quite recently. You can see I bought in at this point here roughly. This is my average share price, and it was looking good for me for a while. Then it started to dip, came back up again, and now it's continued to drop, and I'm now again below that hyphenated line, which is not a good thing. So again, long term, iShares Global Clean Energy ETF, I do have a lot of faith in this, clean energy being the future and all. So yeah, I think this will turn itself around big time years down the line, and yeah, one I'm just going to continue holding. The iShares Nasdaq 100 ETF, 3.66% down from last week. Like I was saying, technology stocks, they were on a massive rally for quite a while this year amidst the pandemic, and it's only recently that seems to have the bubble seems to have burst, a lot of people are saying, with technology stocks, and the recent earnings with companies and the reports, etc. They've kind of been on a decline. So who knows what's going to be happening. I still have a lot of faith in technology long term especially. I still like this ETF. I'll still continue to buy into it, but just not anymore at the moment. We've then got the iShares Physical Gold ETF, 16 shares. Nothing's really changed, but in the red. So weekly view, it's down 0.42%. The S&P 500 healthcare sector ETF, again, weekly view, 5.86% down from last week. Another one that's taken a battering. Legal and General Group, 270 shares. I did increase my position in this a little bit, kind of averaging down, because again, as you can see, the hyphenated line up here, I'm considerably below it now. So weekly view, 6.2% down from Legal and General, one of my favourite UK stocks. And yeah, that's not looking so healthy. McDonald's, part of my busy pie, 6.89% down from last week. MGM Resorts, 11.98% down from last week. National Grid, we are 2.10% down from last week. It's just decline. Royal Dutch Shell, this is an interesting one this week. Shell actually raised their dividend by around 4%, which is obviously brilliant news for me since I have a pretty large holding in Shell, as you can see here. The reason they've actually raised their dividend by, like I say, that 4% figure roughly, it's because their third quarter earnings report have actually beat forecasts, which, yep, again, great news for investors in Shell. And there's a lot of people actually asking if that's sustainable or not. So I'd like to get your opinion on this, guys. What do you think? Is that 4% increase in the dividend with Shell, do you think that's sustainable? I personally think it will be. I don't think Shell would have done that without taking very careful consideration around everything that's going on in the world right just now. So I'm happy. Like I say, I've got quite a big holding in Shell, and I think long-term Shell is going to come out of this in a strong position, and I'm just hoping it's all going to turn around, like I say, 5, 10, 15 years down the line. So I've mentioned it before, they're making a big push towards the renewable side, the green energy, trying to turn their business around, do a lot of transition in there. So yeah, I'm happy long term. I'm going to continue averaging my position down, but you can just see the drastic drop, the massive decline in Shell since the pandemic. It's absolutely insane. Oil prices, Shell, other oil companies all affected badly. And yeah, that weekly view, not looking great, 1.05% down. Monthly view is the same, 3 monthly view. Hyphenated line again, my average share price. And from that point, I'm massively under it. So yeah, not good news at all, but long term, I am thinking positive with Shell, and I will continue to hold, continue to average down. But let me know what you think. Is this recent dividend increase, is it sustainable? Yeah, let me know in the comments. Starbucks is next up. Weekly view, 4.13% down from last week. Another one in my busy pie, and it's actually above my hyphenated line here, so the average share price for my investment, so that is good news. But yeah, big drop from last week again, so kind of getting used to this right now. The VanEck Vectors Video Gaming ETF, ESPO, weekly view, 1.78% down from last week. Another one's taken a drop. So again, long term, I think this will be a good investment. A lot of faith in the esports industry, gaming, etc. I've said in many videos before, I think it's going to boom, it's only going to get bigger, there'll be more attention, more awareness on it. So yeah, happy to hold this one. And then we've got the Vanguard FTSE Emerging Markets ETF last up here, my 24 shares. You saw at the start of this video, I increased my position in there a little bit yesterday. From last week, it's 1.96% down. So again, not very good news. Long term, happy to hold. It's kind of the same story with all my investments here, not really much changing. So yeah, that's kind of how the investments are looking. Something important I'd like to say, all the money I've got in this Trading 212 account, I have completely detached myself from it. As far as I'm concerned, I have no emotional investment with this money at all. This is money I've saved up, put into my investments, and I'm leaving it. A lot of people right now are thinking, should we sell out of our investments? The crash is here, the crash is coming, blah, 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 all this news, everyone freaking out, everyone running around with their heads screaming. They don't know what they're doing. In this long term, I'm not going to be selling anything, especially any of my big investments. I'm going to continue to buy and hold, average down positions, and hope it all works out 5, 10, 15 years down the line. And just coming over to the pies section here, as you can see, I've not done anything from my other pies, the free shares, Tesla, ETF, or UK tech pie. But my busy pie, I did add a little bit more into that yesterday, like you saw at the start. It still just has my McDonald's and my Starbucks holdings, and they're both in the red right just now. So yeah, but hopefully, again, like I say, this will all turn around in time. Just got to be patient and be consistent with the investments. So looking at my allocation from a Trading 212 account, this portfolio, S&P 500 is still at the top, followed by the FTSE 100, the Vanguard FTSE Emerging Markets ETF, and then Shell. I am thinking I'm taking a bit of a risk here. You guys might have noticed this before. I've got a big holding in the FTSE 100 and I've got a big holding in Shell. And obviously the FTSE 100, one of their biggest holdings is in Shell. So I can understand that I'm maybe too heavily invested in Shell, but again, I think it will all work out in the end, so I'm just going to stay positive and we'll see what happens. The iShares Nasdaq 100 is next up, 10.46%. Everything underneath there is under that 10% mark, so I'm not really going to mention it in detail. As always, guys, if you're interested in getting into the world of investing, this could potentially be one of the best times to do so, but please do not take my advice. I am a complete beginner, as I say in every single one of my videos. This could all go horribly wrong for me and I might completely make a failure of this. But with that being said, if you're interested in getting involved in the world of investing, I recommend the Trading 212 app, and you can get involved with this link here that you can see. I will pin this in the description. I'll pin this in the comment section below. It will also be in the description of this video. If you sign up to Trading 212 with this link you see here, then you will receive a free share worth up to £100. I will also receive a free share worth up to £100. But like I say, if you do end up doing that, let me know in the comments section what free share you receive, and I will let you know what free share I receive, and I'd be extremely grateful if you were to use this link and sign up. So thank you in advance if you do. In the red, not good. Let's just see where we are in a week's time. Will things be better? I predict they're going to be worse, especially with some of my ETFs like the FTSE 100, especially with the recent news coming out regarding the pandemic, further lockdowns, etc. And who knows what the hell is going to happen with the US election. I mean, yeah, who knows? We will see what happens. That's what makes this investment journey of mine so interesting. And let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are of the stock market, what your investments are looking like, and how you think things are going to go over the next few months. As always, guys, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please remember to hit that like button. I'm trying to hit 30 likes in this video. 30 weeks I've been doing this, so I'd really appreciate that. And if you're still with me, well done. Quite a long video again. And I think if you're still watching at this point, you should definitely subscribe if you've not already subscribed, because again, I would really appreciate that. So again, guys, big thank you. Until next time, we will see you soon.